if they're using Google, it's more the Gemini, but it's mostly
Right.
just AI. They're just going straight to AI and asking. And now instead of just being visible on Google, we've got to, like they say, when the post moves, you got to move with the post, right?
Well, and the other thing is you've got to change all your website data that's on you, anything that's in print, your Google business page, all of that has to be AI searchable, which is completely different than Google searchable. Because Google, they just say, I'm looking for a realtor in Las Vegas. Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes here with Real Estate Riches, and I am excited to have Natalie Cunningham here today from Las Vegas. Hey girl.
Hi, how are you? Thank you
Great.
so much for having me, by the way.
I'm happy to have you. And we were talking a little bit earlier, and I said, boy, Las Vegas has an interesting connotation for a lot of people. They don't know the whole people actually live there scenario. So, and you're on the American, what is it called? American TV? American Dream Home?
The American Dream TV show. Yep.
Oh,
It's
I'm
a
so excited.
nationwide television show.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited to hear
it's just
about it.
well, the neat thing about it is all the hosts are either top producing realtors or loan officers. Okay.
Mm.
So it's about real estate and more about community, right? So you can feature a listing and you can showcase this kind of stuff. But the neat thing about it is they want to bring in the community. So,
Mm.
and it's all on a positive note. At the beginning of our show, the main part says, it's not a reality show, it's a real show. And it's about why you love where you live. And so that's what I was telling you earlier is I've been in Las Vegas since 1997. So it's been a long time and
Hmm.
kind of embarrassing that I learned things about Las Vegas that have been here for many, many years that I had no idea existed.
Wow.
I just did a show at a restaurant, not just there, but in the summer, but at a restaurant at Blue Diamond, Nevada. It's a little tiny mining town
Mm.
right next to Red Rock, which I've been to a
Ooh.
gazillion times. And it was back in gosh, I can't remember the date, so I apologize, but started, I mean, I think the early 1900s, and it was a little mining town. Well, now it's still a little tiny town, but they have one restaurant there.
Uh-huh.
They have one post office. They have a fire station. It's just this little teeny tiny
Quaint.
town. And I interviewed the owner of the restaurant and showcased them. And then I also featured a listing and did some biking. There's some burros there. So, the local burros, they call them local donkeys that come out
Oh yeah.
and it's just the neatest place. And couldn't believe that I'd never heard about it or been there. And there's a lot of other things, nostalgia street rides, which is a really cool. If
Mm.
anyone's coming to Vegas and they love classic cars or memorabilia, this place is amazing. It's
Oh
family
wow.
owned, started just as a side thing, not a business. And they ended up turning it into, now it's open to the public, but they've got cars from I think 1910 to 1979, maybe. I should know
Boy,
because I did all the research, but
I
just
think I heard
so
of
many
it.
neat things.
And I've gone to Vegas a couple of times in probably the past 10 years for events. And I keep saying I want to get to this classic car place because I have two classic cars and I love them. I drive them as ones a daily as long as it's not raining.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I love classic cars. Well, I'm originally from Detroit. How can you not love classic cars?
Yeah.
But Vegas is known for, is there just one or is there two? Because I thought there was one in the Strip.
There's another one. So the one I did was Nostalgia Street Rods. There's another one that's called Nostalgia something else, but it has to do with some kind of classic cars, but I don't know much about that,
Hmm.
except Nostalgia Street Rides is the original. And
Well,
they're awesome.
there's a lot of classic car lovers in the world, and if you start appealing to some of them, you will have a huge audience.
Oh yes, yes. And all kinds of stuff. Memorabilia. They have all these big semi trucks
Hmm.
or I guess that's what they're called, the big trucks, and
It
it's the
race.
neatest place. It's just
Oh, cool.
I can't say enough good about it. I'll send you the show that I did on that one too.
Okay.
You'll like that. It's really nice.
So how did you get involved with this?
they reached out to me. I thought it was a scam, which I've talked to other agents and everyone kind of is like, what is this, right? Because like, oh,
Yeah.
you want to be on a TV show, da 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 da. What they do is they're nationwide. They are Emmy nominated and they've
Mm.
won 19 Telly Awards. I just had to
Wow.
find that out the other day because I knew we had won like 8 or 9, but I didn't know it was 19. And they've been around for, I think, 12, 13 years, I believe.
Hmm.
And I've only been with them a little over a year and a half. So they just reached out and I was like, well, I'll look into it. What they do is they go from state, city, they just go to different cities and I guess they round up
Hmm.
agents that are top producing and they interview us and we interview them and see if
Sure.
it's a good fit. So yeah.
How does it help your business? I would think the notoriety, that in itself, because you're probably marketing that you did that today. Are you expanding on it in your marketing?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the neat thing about it is that, like I said, you can feature a listing. You can feature a listing on every one, right? But they
Mm-hmm.
don't want it just about the listing, which is obvious.
Sure.
And so that's going to listing appointments. It's a great thing if somebody wants their house even marketed even more, but not even if they say they don't want their house featured on the show, or say I'm already booked up for the next 3 months or whatnot, and
Right.
it sells before then. I still have that brand to market with, right? So
Mhm.
anytime I post on Instagram, like I'm doing an open house this weekend and I'm doing a food drive for the Ronald McDonald House because I'm going to
Oh,
feature them on the next show.
oh,
Um, and so I use their platform. I collaborate with all my past, anyone who's been featured on the show, past clients, anyone that has a good following. So my my sphere, if you will, grows so much more. And then I can use that to constantly market. So it doesn't even matter if I don't feature them, they can still be part of the platform.
sure.
And then building relationships. Someone I just featured on the show this morning just put me in contact with a referral.
Ooh,
So from an agent, a referral
yeah,
agent from Bay City. Yeah. So it's, I mean, the sky's the limit, right? So what you
yeah.
can do, but the best part is not just bringing the community together. I love one of my kind of my theme, if you will, is hidden gems of Las Vegas,
Mm,
right? Because obviously they're hidden even from me. And I get to help mom and pop places. I like,
yeah.
finding little restaurants or just people that maybe they're not getting the recognition, charities that I just featured Sun City Summerlin. It's such an
Mm,
amazing community. I had a listing in there and no, I didn't even know how great it was. So I got
hmm.
to get this message out. So
Yeah.
you get to help people and then you feel good for helping them and you learn or I learn and it's just it's so much fun. It really is. And you get to kind
So,
of get in the role and
yeah. So is it once a month?
I do it every other month.
Okay.
But you if you do it every other month, you're still like I just filmed not in December and now I'm already filming again end of January
Oh,
30th. I'm doing my next one. So even though it's every other month, you're still working every month.
sure, sure. So are
Yeah.
you allowed to take any of the clips and use that? How can you stretch
Oh,
that from a marketing perspective?
yeah, absolutely. So the show is 30 minutes long, and
Mm-hmm.
all the hosts get anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes, somewhere like
Mm-hmm.
that. So my segment's really small, but you get a lot of
Oh,
information, right? So
mm-hmm.
you do an intro and outro, you do a voiceover, and I interview whoever the CEO or the owner or manager, whoever they. And the great thing is I give them the kind of like what you guys did. I give them 4 to 5 questions that they want
Mm-hmm.
me to ask during the interview. And so there's no surprises. It's whatever they want featured, whatever message they want
Yeah.
out.
Good.
And so it works wonderful for everyone. It's free
Yeah.
advertising for them and they get excited that and they can do whatever they want with the segment. And the business can also purchase all the raw footage. So the
Mm.
footage belongs to the American Dream, but the show is nationwide. It's on all streaming platforms
Mm-hmm.
and also Travel Channel, HGTV, and MSNBC. So those are more like chosen or that kind of thing for those
Yeah.
platforms. But then the rest like Prime, Roku, Fire TV, all those streaming platforms. So they can take that show and that segment, they can do whatever they want with it. and they can also purchase the raw footage. So
Can you purchase your raw footage, or do they give it to you? Is that what's that part of it?
no, I can purchase it as well, but usually I just leave that up to because I always have behind the scenes stuff that I can do whatever I want with. So
Hmm.
if I have a friend or my videographer will take some pictures and do some videos
Yeah.
and stuff. So then you can just kind of incorporate all of that. And I could buy all the raw footage, but I kind of leave that up to the business if they want to. Usually it depends. If they don't have any B-roll or any footage, then they will want it because then they can do more with it. But
Yep.
if they're kind of established or something, they might not just because they have
Yeah,
their own stuff. Yeah.
sure.
But it's
Well,
an option, so it's
I'm
pretty
always
cool.
thinking marketing. That's where my
Yes.
brain goes. Well, you must do some pretty good marketing to promote yourself to be picked. You know, you told me you had over 500 agents in the two offices that you guys have got, and you're top notch in Vegas. And so not just you, but the whole that company is. And so you stand out for them to have picked you, right? Because are they doing other agents in Las Vegas?
Yes, there's five that I know of. Now that doesn't
No.
mean that's there are only five, but there's five that I know of. And actually someone in my office reached out and I forgot to follow up with him, but he called me, he said, I know you're on the American Dream. They just approached me. And this was just like I think
Mm.
in November or something. And I said, yes, it's great, da, da, da. I said, look, I hate myself on camera. So what better way to face your fears? I said, but you got to know that obviously you're going to be on camera and I'm critical and as we all are. but,
Well, you've got nothing to be
but I
critical
really
of. You're
couldn't.
beautiful.
Oh, well, you're so sweet. So are you. I told you
Yeah.
earlier, you look amazing. So I don't know. I just couldn't stand myself on camera. And I said, well, I got to get over this fear because where we are this day and age, right? We got to be with the pole or the post or
Yeah,
what is that
you got to
saying?
be
The
everywhere.
yeah, you have to be everywhere to market and do all that, and everything's always changing. So I just faced my fears and did.
One time I was doing a Facebook Live for a open house I was doing. And so when the camera on the one side looks at you, it's horrific, right? And so I did Facebook Live. So now I'm live doing this because I really wanted to get some more leverage for this house, right? So I turn the camera on and it goes live. I go, oh my gosh. Okay. Said, I'm going to put my arm out farther, but it got so much traction. And then the other thing was, I said, I'm out here in Huntersville today. That's the little town. I said, oh shoot, I don't even know what street I'm on. And this is a live thing. And so I go, well, there's the house number and it's off this road. I said, it is in the MLS, people. Could you just look it up? And so, anyway, while I'm on doing Facebook Live, an agent looks it up and texts me that I see on my Facebook Live the address. I go, oh, Cynthia, you're the savior of the day. The address is, and so it was just ridiculous and it got so much traction. And I did not plan that in the slightest. It's just
I
busy,
love it. I
busy.
love
And
it.
oh, it's crazy. But man, we were talking about AI earlier and I am addicted. It's ridiculous. And I incorporated so much. I was doing monthly trainings, but I had such a hard time of people showing up. And the most I ever had was 15. And 15 is good, but a lot of them were like 3, and I would mark it and I would put it all over the place. But agents were ignoring it. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you just do not understand the criticalness of AI in our industry, in any industry right now. And so I stopped doing that and I just started to teach myself more. And I did create a Facebook group called Real Estate Riches Collective, and it's open to realtors no matter what firm they're at. And what I'm hoping, I think I have 40 some people in there. It's not as big as I want it to be, but it's all me right now. I put in thing after thing after thing of here's prompts, here's how to take an old picture and turn it good, here's how to do staging for your empty house that's not going to distort the walls and put windows and stuff where they aren't, and it's free. You can just do it in these different platforms, and how you would say that in the MLS. So many things I've got in there, so I really encourage people to kind of go down the feed. There's just so much.
Well, now you have 41 because I'm going to sign right on up in there.
All right, that's great.
I'm excited. I got to tell you the best thing that I just figured out how to do because I'm new at AI, but I'm constantly trying to learn and I call
Good.
ChatGPT chatty. Oh, chatty, let me ask you a question. But I also just kind of signed up for Grok recently.
Good.
And I told you I'm doing that Ronald McDonald House food drive this weekend for my open house. So I'm kind of combining them. And I figured out, I know it's probably simple for you and most people, but I figured out I have a picture of me and I was at the Ronald McDonald House and I have a picture of me in one of the statues, right?
Yeah.
And I figured out how to have him talk and say, please join us at the Ronald McDonald House food drive or something. I can't remember the exact words, but it's on my Instagram right now and people are loving it.
Yes,
And
they would.
one of my friends thought, oh, I just thought maybe it was like a talking statue or something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's even better that you actually thought that. But he's
Yeah.
moving and I'm not saying anything and he's talking. So I'm gonna do more of those. And it's the coolest thing. It's kind
Did
of
you do
creepy,
that
but
in
it's cool.
Grok?
Yes. So you just
I did
load up a
not know it
picture
did
in
that.
Grok. Oh my gosh, I taught you something. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I'm really
You
excited.
load it in Grok and you just tell them what to say. It really, I tried to say way too many words. They won't. So you want to do like maybe just two sentences, if that, maybe just one
Hmm.
long sentence. And
Hmm.
you just say, please make Ronald say blah, 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 or make me. Like if I just had a picture of me, it was a picture of me and the statue just, I was smiling. They had me laughing and turning my head and him talking, saying to bring for the food drive.
Oh
It was
my
really
gosh, that's
cool.
so exciting
It's
because
really cool.
I just created a clone of myself. I've been working on the clones. So I finally got the clones. As a matter of fact, that's what I was doing right before I jumped on. I was working on some other ones and I learned a little part that I missed. So anyway, I saw on this one feed because I follow a lot of people that are doing all kinds of different prompts and they just share the prompts. And so this one woman, she had where it was like her clone sitting there and then a little miniature caricature of herself right next to her that, and then people had done it where they had them both talking. I go, I got it so I could create the two of them, but I couldn't get them where they were talking in harmony right. They were talking over each other and it was the same voice for both. So I'm going to try Grok. I can't wait. It's the first thing I'm going to
Yeah,
do when I get
it
off
was.
this.
It's really cool. I can't take full credit. One of my girlfriends told me. Well, she sent me a picture. It was just what like my headshot, and then the
Uh-huh.
headshot's laughing and moving and talking. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so creepy because I worry about the negative things of people doing weird things, but where we just have to use it for good. But so I was playing around with it and she didn't even tell me how to do it. I was just playing around with it and just asked it and it's pretty cool. It's
It's
really
cool.
neat.
You
Yeah.
know, and a lot of people think, well, why are you just playing with that stuff? I go, no, I'm learning it. When you play, you learn. And so
Mhm.
now, because if we're not marketing, we are really out of business too. And we need to be unique marketing. I don't think you need to be like they were doing on TikTok, all the stupid dances. I never liked that part. So I never wanted that piece, but I want something that stands out. Like to give you an example, when Sora. Yeah, Sora first came out, which is a video and it's only 8 seconds long, right? And so you could just give it a description. You could put in your picture and it would absorb your face. And then I have people that I represent in Portugal and they had equestrian estates. I want that outgoing referral, right? So I said, I want a gorgeous black stallion walking through an equestrian estate in Portugal and I'd like to be riding it and sitting up there on a beautiful stallion and going down and looking at the things. And so it made an incredible one. And then I just did a voiceover on it. And it turned out so great. And because it's only 8 seconds, people will watch it again. And that's what changes the algorithm to see more and get more exposure. So the shorter those clips are, like 3 seconds, so they have to click it like they liked it so much, they'll click it and it will blow up.
Oh, I love
Isn't
that.
that cool?
See it? I didn't know about that. So that's really cool.
I
And
love
it's
that.
something catchy. Yeah. And it's, hey, it's the year of the horse. So it's
Yeah.
also really cool.
Oh,
That's,
yes.
yeah. Well,
Well,
and another
and
thing,
I did a post with it, of course, and I
uh-huh.
said, I just created this in Sora, and I said, here's what I did. Here was my prompt. here's exactly what I did. And I said, and I do have people that have equestrian estates in Portugal if you're looking for an equestrian estate. So
Oh,
I,
that's
I could make it be the sales pitch I was looking for, but I was being unique in my marketing that caught people's eyes.
and you could use it for so many different things as well.
Yes.
Well, another thing that and I have to give you credit for this, I was listening to one of your podcasts and I can't remember your guest, um, but he was talking about AI and he made a really good point. And he said, people don't realize you can just go to the AI, either Grok or Chat, whatever it was, and say, how can I be more visible on for an AI? Somebody's searching AI, how can I be more visible? And I was blown away. So I went on and did it, and it's like, sure, you just do this, and there's these, and he said, do this exact post, and so I did, and that was just yesterday, so I can't tell you the results, but but yeah. So, but it was so interesting. You don't think about those things. People are they're if they're using Google, it's more the Gemini, but it's mostly just
Right.
AI. They're just going straight to AI and asking. And now instead of just being visible on Google, we've got to, like they say, when the post moves, you got to move with the post, right?
Well, and the other thing is you've got to change all your website data that's on you, anything that's in print, your Google business page, all of that has to be AI searchable, which is completely different than Google searchable. Because Google, they just say, I'm looking for a realtor in Las Vegas. And then here's a
Mm-hmm.
list of realtors. Not anymore. They're going to say, I'm looking to move in whatever town, let's say that you live in. I'm looking for a luxury realtor who's got experience, well recognized. This is the kind of house I'm looking for. So I want to make sure that they do that. In other words, a prompt. And so
Mm-hmm.
your blogs have got to be searchable, what they call it now, AEO. AEO and A stands for answers. So we have to start changing all our platforms, what our bios are, everything. And the sooner you do it, the better because you want to be ahead of the other guys.
Right. Yep.
And just, and the thing that I love about all the LLMs is that all you have to do is say, I don't know how to do this. Will you please explain it to me? And I always tell them, teach me like I'm a fifth grader because I need baby steps. And
Yep.
I want, and also know that ChatGPT lies a lot. So does Perplexity. You always want to know their sources or you give it the source. It will lie and lie and lie. And sometimes I got so mad at the other day. I said, you don't even know what you're doing. You're making me crazy. We spent 3 hours on this project and you don't know it. And I'm going over to Gemini. And I went over to Gemini and I would ask the question. I said, can you even do this? And he goes, no, you haven't been able to do that for a year. And I go, oh, it just kept telling me another workaround in chat. It didn't know it. So it makes stuff up. So you have to very
Oh,
much be careful. So like if you're doing numbers where you're crunching numbers, sources, feed it the data versus counting on it to bring you the data. So like if you were, a good example is, let's say you had some land and you trying to compare it to different stuff and you didn't know what you uses were. I put in the zoning code link for that property in that county and say, go look up, here's the MLS sheet, here's the tax records on this whole sheet so that it knows it. So that's its source. Go to that particular website. Here's the website. Now go tell me everything that can be done on this piece of property. So now that's one way I've fed it data that's accurate data
okay.
versus it pulling something because they're just pulling from all over the place and people don't necessarily have all the right information. So you have to be careful how you do it, especially when you're
That's really
researching,
interesting. That's really interesting. And the scary thing about what you just said is a lot of people don't know that. They can't.
right?
And so I don't know, the words got to get out there somehow because that is scary. Then somebody wants to argue with you because they think they have the correct data.
Give you an
Very
example.
interesting.
One of my agents called me today and he said, I went into Grok and he said, I wanted it to search this neighborhood. We've got a house that's a fixer-upper. The wife smoked for 17 years in the house, carpet stinks, it's not been updated, needs paint, this and that. And he said, I told Grok to research the price point. If it was at least replace the carpet, we got that smoke smell out of there. We painted the walls, those things instead of doing a whole reno, right? And it came up with a price that he thought was probably good. And I go, I said, I know that neighborhood, and isn't there different varying degrees of types of homes that are a 4-bedroom home in there? And he goes, yes. I said, aren't some all brick and some just brick on the front and siding on that? He goes, yes. I said, then you need to tell it to act as an appraiser and analyze all the differences, but you've got to upload your MLS sheet. You want the MLS sheet, you want all the pictures sheet, you want the tax thing. And if there's anything in the notes within the MLS that talks about things that they've updated, like if you did a feature sheet, you want all of that on all those homes. And then when I do this, I tell it, now you act like you're an expert appraiser who specializes in this particular territory. I want you to factor in the difference of the bedrooms, the difference of the garages, the difference of the lots, if there's a pool or not, all those components, the updates, the non-updates. And now you give me a report that tells me, and I'd like it in a spreadsheet, please. And it'll do it.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That's
see,
amazing.
if you see how if you were competing against me and you didn't know that, and I come in
Right.
with the spreadsheet, I validate my numbers, and they're right because they're right out of the MLS. And like I did this, and I said, I want to be in multiple offers. I want you to give me a spread. I want you to be able to validate why this could be multiple offers for me because my clients need to move quickly, yet I don't want to get taken advantage of. And we're timing this to a garden show that was going to be happening in their neighborhood on a certain day for a couple of days. So we were
Hmm.
really excited to make all this launch. And my clients were blown away. I was worried that they were going to be freaked out because it was all AI, but they were blown away.
That's wonderful. That's a great story.
And we sold it
Yes.
in 11 days, not in multiple offers because 2 other homes came into the garden show the same day we did. But we still sold it in 11 days and we got darn close to our price and they were happy and they made 100,000.
That is wonderful. I'm gonna borrow that from you if that's okay.
Yes. Do you have that formula in your head, how I said that?
Yes.
Good. Because that was the key. The appraiser
Well,
part.
and yeah, I do. So well, we can discuss this more because I mean, it is really interesting. And like I said, when I was listening to your podcast, I was really learning things. And
Thank you.
I was so thankful because I'm taking something away from it. And I think that's really important. And I think it's important for, one, we have to take care of our clients. Yes, it's really nice to be impressive, but it's wonderful to actually follow through and do what's right for them. So the more knowledge I can get,
Right?
the better.
Well, and the reason I started all this was this guy, he just did it with Grok. He didn't do any of the MLS sheets, right?
Hmm.
And so I told him how I would do it and he went over and he started uploading some he started in he did it in ChatGPT and then he went over to Grok and Grok said it was like worth 60,000 more. I said, "You haven't given it the data that it needs in either location. Neither one is right or wrong." Because it's pulling from like Zillow and things like that. It's not pulling from the MLS. It doesn't know. And you're not guiding it to be an appraiser where all the nuances are critical. And so I don't want to be the appraiser, but I'd sure like it to be, and especially if it has the talent to be and can figure things out. And when I also did that, I had done research in Grok about this area that I was going to be selling this house in because I didn't know it. And houses sold in there from 500,000 to 5 million. I said, I don't even understand this little development. And it was an older development.
A few of those here in Vegas.
Yeah, down in the heart of Charlotte and was off a golf course and I said, there, it's walkable. I said, you got to tell me all the features of this community, why people are so addicted to this community, because I need that for my marketing so that I can use all of that. And I said, I think we're on the street, but they're not where the $5 million houses are, but it's like the street. So tell me all that stuff. So it did deep research on that and it did it from a lot of articles, newspaper articles, and blogs, because I always tell it, give me your sources. I want sources all the time.
Very interesting. So when you're talking about that specific story, that was Grok, not Chat,
I
that you
started in Grok.
had it be the appraiser. Uh-huh.
I started in Grok not as the appraiser, just to give me background on that community. I wanted to know everything about that community. Then I took that, I put it over in ChatGPT, and I had 10 different comparable homes that I did the MLS sheet all the pictures, the tax records. I uploaded my clients' MLS sheet from when they bought before, their whole feature page of all the things that they had done since they were there, because they just bought it 3 years prior and paid 100,000 over list to get it back in 22 when things were
Mm,
insane, right? And I'm thinking, oh my God, we're going to be in the arrears here, and they still ended up 100,000 up because it was a coveted community. But the marketing that I did, how I was able to do it to sell that whole theme really helped, and the timing and the pricing. The pricing was dead on, and we did not have to go much lower than our actual price, which was great. And it was gone in 11 days.
that's wonderful. And were you able to upload any of that in your MLS, like any of the documents to kind of show how you got the number, or was that something that you would have thought about doing just to kind of
You mean to have that for people to have as a resource? The other
like
side?
yeah,
No,
other agents or no?
I don't give
Okay.
away those secrets to the other side.
Okay.
And most of them wouldn't have even understood what I was doing because this was
Right.
a year ago, and that was really far ahead. People look at me all the time like I'm some weird person from outer space, especially at my age. They're like, "What is she talking about?"
I
And
know. I've
they,
said there's no excuse. I'm really gonna take this. I mean, I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of the game.
you
I mean,
are.
kind of. I'm at least learning and utilizing it. But I,
When I
it just
downloaded those from the MLS, because I downloaded all those things. I did it as one PDF. I put it all as one PDF that I uploaded into ChatGPT because they have limits on different things. So it was all one PDF that I did. And because you could do that out of the MLS, it just came as all one big thing, like as if you were printing it. And I just uploaded it in, so it only counted as one PDF. And then I did the others of their house. So I really didn't have to upload too much information, but it was solid information.
that's wonderful. Well, it's a
Yeah.
great thing to also show your clients. And even if they think we're crazy, but you have the sources so you can see I'm not
Yeah.
crazy. It came from an actual source,
Yeah.
not an alien.
And I printed out the different MLSs that were are the sheet houses that related to that specific house the most. I brought those. I brought my analysis because I had the spreadsheet that it created, which was amazing. And then I also had just the summary analysis for them to see. And I said, it asked me, do you want me to create a marketing thing for you to show to your clients? I go, yeah, I would. And so it
Of
did.
course.
And so I had that.
Of course. Just keep going. Just give me what you
Right?
got. That's what I
Well, we
always
need
tell
to
them. Yes.
wrap this up. So it's been a
Okay.
pleasure, or
It's been
huge
a real
pleasure.
pleasure. I really appreciate meeting you and thank you so much for having me. This is great. I look
Yes,
forward to a long-term relationship for
I
sure.
love that. I love that. All right,
Thank you
everybody,
so
that's
much.
another wrap, and I'm so excited to have Natalie on here. That's the first time I've interviewed anybody with the TV show like that, and it's strong. So you'll have all her information, so you can reach out to her in the remarks below. So that'll all be set for her. And please subscribe if you would. We are looking to grow this channel, people. Let's book a strategy call and see how it would look in your eyes. And if you're thinking, man, I'd like to have a conversation with Kathy Byrnes. Maybe I'd like to be part of this EXP company and see what it's all about. That sounds good to me. Let's book a strategy call and let's have a talk. No pressure, but man, it's worth a conversation. The link's in the description.